Hi, everybody. I'm Adriana Trigiani. Welcome to my home in Greenwich Village in New York City. I'm so happy you're here, and I'm very excited to talk to you about my brand new novel, the first in a trilogy called Very Valentine. This is the story of a woman who's 33 years old, and her life really hasn't worked out the way she had planned. She's moved in with her grandmother to become an apprentice in the shoe company that the family's had going since 1903 in the United States. It's called the Angelini Shoe Company. And the Angelini Shoe Company makes custom wedding shoes. Now, these aren't just any wedding shoes. These are glorious, one-of-a-kind creations made with gorgeous embellishments, hand-cut leather, gorgeous satins. This is really an old-world craft that we're bringing to life for you. Now, the inspiration for this novel basically took place. I'd go out in the morning and get some fresh air, and I'd walk along the streets of Greenwich Village, and there's a lady that caught my eye. She was growing tomatoes on the roof of her apartment building, and it made me really miss my grandmothers because they had their own gardens, and she became sort of an obsession with me. I would look for her and wonder where she was when I didn't see her. And then, of course, I would chronicle the tomatoes. I would see what time of summer it was and when the yield was coming in, and I would think of my grandmothers and remember them. And what was also intriguing to me is she lived in one of these little salt box buildings on the Hudson River. Now, as most of you know, when you look at pictures of New York City, or if you live in the area, you know that there are some gorgeous, glitzy, big high-rises along the water now. Somebody figured out that the Hudson River was a knockout, and they started to build up these docks that had before just been places where the ships came in, dropped supplies, and left. Not very pretty. Now you can walk the entire southern end of Manhattan, and it's absolutely stunning with gardens and piers, and it's just incredibly beautiful. And of course, you can stand and weep and look at the Statue of Liberty, which is what Italians do when they come to New York City. Anyway, this novel is about this family that has for years had a family business. And for those of you out there who have been self-employed or worked in a small business, you know what this terrain is. It's always a struggle to make ends meet. There's always the dream and the goal of, should we take these wedding shoes and make them bigger? Should we brand our name? And really, when it comes down to it, these are handmade quality goods. And in this world where things are made in factories, you think most of your clothes are made in factories, shoes are made in factories. You wonder, is this an old world craft that needs to survive? Well, I'm here to tell you, I went to Italy and I did the research, and I hope and pray that this is an art form that never dies, because it's absolutely amazing when you sit with a shoemaker and he makes a pair of shoes perfectly for your feet, your particular feet, or the customer's feet, and they become, in a sense, works of art. No different from a painting, a play, a piece of music, or a poem. These things are magnificent in the very unique way that they are created. So I wanted to write about that. I went to the Isle of Capri, and I met the real deal, an old world craftsman named Costanzo Rocco. Now, you know I usually change the names of people in my novels, but he had such a compelling love story that I had to weave it into the fabric of the story. It was that beautiful. So I'm hoping that when you read it and you go on the first leg of the journey with Valentine Roncalli, which chronicles a woman's life from the age of 33 to 43, which is when I think we make our biggest decisions about career change, family or not, marriage or not, partnership or not. Those years are the critical years, and I thought it would be just great fun and give it scope and a delicious sense of all those themes that you've enjoyed in my books in the past, but I'm able to weave in a contemporary setting. The idea of the meaning of family, the idea that we're here for a purpose. What is that? If I'm going to make shoes, am I going to be the greatest wedding shoemaker that I can possibly be? How do I serve my customer and make the most beautiful possible creation for them? And the story of art, really. How do I create something that is so individual and so expresses what I'm about, meaning the character, my Valentine Roncalli. What is she finding out about herself? And I know these are the themes that play in your life, and they play in mine. So this is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be, you're going to cry. You know, you always cry with my books. And I think you'll want to go on the journey for the next 2 novels on a delicious new trilogy, and the first of which is Very Valentine, which I'm very excited to bring to you, my dear reader.